So the RSPB were looking to do a project in the area that would compensate for losses of habitats in Essex and elsewhere across the East Coast, habitats such as salt marsh and mudflats. And then also looking for a big realignment scheme that could show how coasts could adapt to climate change in the future. And Wallasey Island was looked at as somewhere where this could happen. It was a reasonably large area, it had one landowner, and it was suitable for making different wetland habitat. So I wasn't actually here when the first decisions as to what habitats were going to be created were here, but because we're below sea level on the island itself, that had to be taken into account when we chose what habitats to make. So if you made a hole in the sea wall, when you're below sea level, an awful lot of water comes on, as you can imagine, and you need a way of reducing that water. So you can either do that with a sluice structure, which obviously narrows the hole and allows you to control the amount of water coming on, or you could actually raise the land so the hole's less big and less water comes on and off each tide. And the RSPB and Crossrail partnered up, and Crossrail was digging a lot of material out of London to make the Elizabeth line, and 3 million tonnes of that material came to Wallasey Island to raise the land, and by doing so we could then make a hole in the seawall and bring the water on to make a new area of intertidal habitat and managed realignment. Yeah, in 2015 the walls were breached and the water came on for the first time, and obviously initially it was bare, inert soil that Crossrail had brought in, and it had been placed at the right levels, so we got that in the future, the full range of habitats from mudflats all the way through the different salt marsh levels. But what we needed was the sea to bring in sediments as well to lay on top of that land forming. So the sea brings in sediments and makes that nice soft mud that then the invertebrates can live in, that the birds will then feed on. And it will also obviously bring in seeds and bits of plant matter that then start the whole vegetation communities developing. So since in those 10 years, we've had huge amounts of bird numbers coming in the winter. So we've got several thousand knot peaking in the winter, and knot didn't used to live on Wallasey Island before that. And in total across the whole of the reserve, we regularly see over 30,000 birds and peaking at 39 to 40,000 birds in midwinter on particularly high spring tides, which is when we get the most. So you can see in this area behind me all the land that's coloured in green. That was the original reserve boundary, but recently at the end of 2024 we got a grant from the Ida Davies Foundation to buy these 3 fields over here in the northwest, and we've got plans to make habitats in those, as you imagine. So one will have a lagoon in it, which will use water that used to drain out to sea when it was arable land, and the other 2 will complete our habitat mix of on the reserve by having some more scrub, which we don't really have much of at the moment, and some more rough grassland for raptors to hunt. Well, obviously we'd like to continue to build on the numbers of birds that we've got here now. We've got really good numbers of wintering birds. We've got good numbers of some of the summer breeding birds, so good numbers of avocets and common terns, but we would like to build those up more if possible and build up our core lapwing and redshank populations in breeding time as well. And then with this new scrub developing, we might get, in the future, get some of the farmland birds, the hedgerow loving birds that we don't have at the moment, such as yellowhammer. So that will be a really nice thing to add to the reserve mix.